In the last class, we have seen about, have discussed about some of the power quality, the power system related terms with respect to the fundamental voltage and current, and then discussed about the instantaneous power equation when you have the when voltage and current have the harmonics. Okay. We have seen about the active power also, like how do you measure the active power? Okay, and this particular equation of this P is equal to 1 by T 0 to T, the integral of P of T d dot T, it gives about this particular equation. Okay, irrespective of whether you take the P active of T over here or the P of T of D of T, total overall instantaneous power also, you will be getting this particular equation, the VDC plus IDC plus summation of n equal to 1 to Vn In cos phi n, where the cos phi n is this particular equation. Okay, phi V1 minus phi In. The instantaneous reactive power is this equation. Okay, I mean the active power and then the reactive power has been derived for the similar frequency, the interaction of the similar frequency components. That is, to take about the second harmonic, second harmonic voltage, it interact the second harmonic current also. Okay, this is about the reactive power. The reactive component of the instantaneous power is denoted as P reactive of T. I mean, this particular equation of 1.28 and 1.30 is derived what we have seen in the fundamental frequency components interaction of voltage and the non-linear current also. Okay, especially this particular equation. Yeah. Then the reactive power of Q, which is of the maximum value of 1.30 equation, the magnitude. Whatever we have seen for the fundamental frequency, the same thing and the similar thing is applicable for other frequency components of the reactive power. We get of V1 I1 of sine phi n phi 1 plus V2 I2 of sine phi 2. This is about the reactive power. Okay, and now this power, which is of elaboratively the real power or the average active power, which we can take out as the PDC plus summation of En In cos phi n. In the above equation, this the PDC, which is average active power corresponding to the DC components, whereas this P1, which is the average of with respect to the fundamental active power, whereas the PH, which is the average harmonic active power. And the P1 can also be derived by extracting the fundamental voltage and the fundamental current also. Extracting the fundamental voltage and then the fundamental current. See, how do you extract the fundamental voltage? Suppose if you have been given a signal of this kind of a signal, okay, which is a periodic signal. Okay, generally for a periodic signal, if you want to extract it, we are going to the Fourier series. We are going for a Fourier series. For a periodic signal, we can go for a Fourier transform also. There are other kind of mechanisms, other kind of theories also have been evolved in extracting out the fundamental values of voltage or a current also, or any other signal also. It's not about this particular series of Fourier series or Fourier transform. There are other ways of extracting out the fundamental values. Okay, in certain applications where we are interested in finding out the fundamental active power. Okay, especially this fundamental active power. Okay, one of the case I just mentioned, I will quote over here is whenever if there is any kind of a system where we are improving this current quality, especially we are maintaining about the current to be a quality current to be is sinusoidal. In that case, we have a device of a custom power devices, which is custom power devices, which is improving this current quality of the source current quality. Maybe when you don't have this device, custom power devices, we have the IS is equal to IL, which is the IL is of the combination of the active component, I can say this IL is of fundamental current as well as the harmonic current. In that case, it is very essential to, if you want to make, this custom power devices, okay, if you want to make this, just a minute. Yeah. The point here, if this load is carrying a current, of all the harmonic current, all load, I mean the fundamental current as well as the harmonic currents. In that case, we are expected this one IS to be only the fundamental current of I1, the rest of all to be injected by this custom power devices by IH. Okay, IH. See, knowing out this fundamental alone, from this the P1 equation, the way once you find out the fundamental voltage and fundamental current, we can find out the P1. What we get was P1 by the voltage, maybe something like a V1 voltage magnitude, you will be getting the I1 magnitude. Okay. For that, finding out the fundamental active power is very much important also. Okay, once this I1 is find it out, this is a fundamental current. This IH current, the harmonic current, we doesn't know what kind of the harmonic currents are there. Okay, in order to find out the harmonic current, we can just have this IH is equal to the IL load current minus of the fundamental current. Okay, this the star is the reference. Once you find out the IHR, it is very easy to control by this custom power devices. Okay. Here I just have been mentioning about what is the importance of this P1. In order to find out the P1, we are to find out this V1, the fundamental voltage and the fundamental current is very much important. Whether you go with the Fourier series or Fourier transform or any other series or any other algorithms also. In literature, there are very there are different algorithms are there, or different kind of estimations are there to estimate the fundamental any frequency components of the frequency component of the magnitudes. Okay. Yeah. Next is the harmonic power, which we can easily find it out. Once we find out the P1, if you know the P of P, we can find out the harmonic power also. Okay. The P, which we can find it out as 1 by T of 0 to T of V of T, I of T. Okay. If you are interested in finding out what is the amount of the harmonic real power, and this equation, which we can find it out as a P1, is very easy also. To find out the harmonic power is P minus of this equation, we can find it out as P, and this equation 1.333, which we can find it out as P1 also. In that case, finding out the harmonic power is very easy also. Okay, instead of going that the V2, I2 and finding out the cos phi 2 and V3 magnitude and I3 magnitude and finding out the phase angle difference between the third harmonic voltage and I3 harmonic voltage also, the third harmonic current. It is very difficult also. So this way we can find it out the harmonic active power also. Yeah, next is the other point. Basically, this reactive power is a non-useful power, as you know that also. Okay, this is a non-useful power. And to define the active power, it is very easy also. To define the active power, it is 1 by T, something like we can find it out as V of T and then the I of T of dt of T. But this particular equation of the reactive power, it is not very so easy also. Okay, it is not so easy, but the reactive power, which is they call it as a Boudinot's, this is this reactive power has been found out by this particular author. So that is the reason why this power has been called it as a Boudinot's reactive power. Can be found it out as the maximum value of the term, which is of 1.30. 1.30, this particular equation. This particular equation. Okay, is about of the reactive power is Vn In sin phi n, and then the V1 I1 sin phi 1 and V2 I2 sin phi 2 and so on. This is about the reactive power when you are dealing with the harmonics, voltage harmonics and current harmonics. There are other powers are there. Okay, because when you have been seeing this particular equation, especially this particular equation, the P of T, there in the P of T, these are all the components, the one and then the second and then the third. One especially we can just make out with the DC average power also. This power also we can make out this average, this power also. This power of the fourth equation, which we have been able to figure out as the real power as the reactive power. But these are the powers which we are not able to quantify it in as an average power as a reactive power also. Even this power also, this powers we could not able to quantify in any kind of the fashion of the active power as well as the reactive power. These are the powers. Okay, these are the powers which we are not able to quantify, these powers and these powers. We'll see that some of the other powers also, which I mean, some of the authors have been identified it also. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is about the Boudinot's reactive power, which they call it as fundamental reactive power as well as the harmonic reactive power. In the equation, okay, in 1.27, I mean, compared to early also, even with the 1.30 equation also, they have find it out as this is the DC power, DC, okay, as a DC, and the similar frequency components, which we can able to figure out this P of T as active and P reactive of T. Rest of all is all the non-similar frequency component. Rest of all are all non-similar frequency components. Now we can see this equation also. These are the VDC and then the harmonic currents, and then the IDC and then the harmonic voltages. And these are the things which are the dissimilar frequencies of the voltage interaction with the currents also, where n is equal to 1 and m is not equal to n, and so m is equal to 1 or to infinity also. Okay, this about the instantaneous powers with respect to the presence of voltage harmonics as well as the current harmonics. If you see the apparent power, it is very well easy. We can find it out as very easily also. Just out for any kind of a signal, finding out the RMS value is very easy for any signal also. Okay, once you have to find out the fundamental the frequency components, fundamental frequency we need to find out. Okay, once you are able to find out the frequency, then we can find out the RMS value of any signal also. And similarly to the current also, we can find out the current. Once you find out the RMS value of the voltage and the RMS value of the current, finding out the apparent power is very easy. Okay, S is equal to VA. This you are aware of this also. Apparent power also you are aware of this. This is the equation which is of VDC square root of the V is equal to VDC square plus V1 square plus V2 square and so on, and square root of IDC square plus I1 square plus I2 square and so on. And these particular components has been labeled it as this, V square of H, which is equal to V2 square plus V3 square plus so on, and IH square is equal to I2 square and so on, I3 square and so on. Okay, here why I am just mentioning over with respect to this particular equation is to express the power factor, to express the how does this power factor, the overall power factor is dependent on the power factor is a function of the THD of currents and THDs of voltage. Okay, especially this power factor, you might have heard about the distortion power factor as well as the displacement power factor also. Okay, especially when you have the THDs of currents, the power factor will decrease also, will decrease. For that, to derive that particular equation of the power factor, how does it depends on the THD of current and THD of voltage. For that, I have been expressed over here the apparent power in terms of the harmonic voltage as well as the harmonic currents. Okay. S is equal to Vi. We can write it out as S square of V square I square also. Okay. And this particular equation, and we have know this voltages as well as the currents also. Once you try to simplify this, we will be getting the DC apparent power and then the fundamental power, and this power is of the similar frequency components of the voltage and then the current. See, we need to multiply VDC square, IDC square, VDC square plus I1 square, and VDC square plus I square, then V1 square it has come. Okay, total we got over here the 9 terms over here. Okay, and we try to able to figure out that VH square as IH square, this is the harmonic related apparent power. Then the rest of the power which has been mentioned as S square D, and this power of S square DC, SH square and SD square are related to the a non-useful power also, it is not required also. Maybe they have been, it has been labeled as S square of N. And now this, looking this particular equation of S square N, making out the S square N terms. One is the terms actually in this particular equation. we have written all these components, the VDC square of IDC square, VDC square of IDC square. I mean, all rest of all this fundamental of V1 square of I1 square, rest of all the terms of 8 terms will be there over here. Okay. Now in this particular expression, we have been in 1.42, we removed that DC components. Okay. Generally, like as the DC components are negligible in a system, we are not removed it. But for our understanding, have written over in this particular expression of S square of DC also. Okay. Okay. Now we try to, in order to figure out the power factor, how does it depends on the real power as, harmonic voltage and current, in order to differentiate that. So we are taken. They are taken only the harmonics in voltage and harmonics in current. So this part is not there. This part is not there. This is not there. This will be there. The V1 square IH square, and this won't be there. And this will be there. We have written over here. And then the VH square of IH square, this equation. Rest of all it's are not. And this particular equation, the VH square, we can able to return this way. This is dV into I1 times of VH square, dV, because here there is a harmonic voltage, distortion in the voltage only. Here it is the distortion in current. Okay, the distortion in the voltage I1 into VH square, VH, and then the distortion in current V1 into IH. This way we have been written this equation. These are the terms, the VH, again the VH, when you look into this particular VH, we can able to express this as this equation. The THT in the voltage is equal to the harmonic RMS voltage by the fundamental voltage. Okay, as you know, this particular equation of THT in the voltage is equal to some V2 square plus V3 square and V4 square and so on by V1. This is a VH. Now here in this particular equation, we can make out as I1 into V1 into THT voltage, and this equation is V1 I1 THT current. Okay. Once you know this V1 V1 into I1, this is apparent power of fundamental power. Now this equation we just gone to there, and dV1 is equal to S1 into THT V1. The DI is equal to S1 into THT into current. Whereas the SH term is of VH into IH, this particular equation. In 1.4 this 4.3 equation, we try to make out this VH into IH as we know that V1 into THT voltage and IH has THT into fundamental current. Okay. Now we can substitute over this particular of SN also, SN equation also. Okay. Yeah. Now this Sn is equal to, we can make out the S1 as common over here. Common over here, and we can take out as THT in current of THT in voltage. There is THT's current square and THT in voltage. And we can make out an assumption, I mean a consideration, which in generally what we have seen, the THT in current voltages are very much lesser than the THT in current also. Okay, THT in current. You can make out with considering the THT in voltage also. It's not like that. I am just here neglecting the distortion in voltages. So now what happened was Sn is equal to only S1 in the distortion in current alone. Okay. The above relation shows that the THT contained in voltage and current increases the non-fundamental apparent power. Increases the non-fundamental apparent power. Increases for a useful transmitted power. This is a very important point. Actually, the useful power which we have been considering is the fundamental power. Once, if you have other components of the harmonics, other frequency components in a voltage or in a current, we have been loaded the transmission network also. Okay, this means that they have given here there are more losses, hence it is a less efficient power network. It is a less efficient power network also. Okay, we'll come back to the power factor. How does it is dependent on the THT voltage or THT current. Before going to that, there are some other terms are there which are related to the powers. One equation here, it is a non-active power. S square is equal to the P square plus N square. Okay, we have in S, especially in S, yeah, when you go to this particular equation, yeah, this particular terms, we have S1 square, we have S1 square, and then SDC square plus HH square plus SDC square, all that. In the S1 square, we will be having about a square root of P1 square plus Q1 square also. Okay, whole square. Okay, then even in the case of the distortion also, we'll be having the other frequency components also, like what I want to mention over here. It is maybe a P2 square and P2 square also. These particular components also will also be there. Okay. Yeah. Here we are this power, the real power, which is of V1 I1 of cos phi 1 plus V2 I2 of cos phi 2 plus so on, are all the useful powers, are all related to the active power. When you try to find out the S square, the S is of V square the RMS, V into IRMS, VRMS into IRMS. In this particular components, the way which they have related is because when you have the fundamental voltage and fundamental current, we have the relation of S1 square, S1 is equal to square root of P square plus Q square. Okay, this particular equation. Okay, we can find it out as Q is equal, this is a fundamental powers. Q1 as square root of S1 square of minus of P1 square. This way we can find it out. When you have the harmonics in voltage and harmonic currents, it is not so easy to find out the reactive power from the apparent power. So whatever the power, once you find out the average power, the rest of all the power, the square root of S square minus P square, will be getting as a non-active power. Okay, it is not a reactive power just. When you have the voltage harmonics and the current harmonics, it is not just a reactive power. It is a non-active power. Okay, because when you look into the equation of this particular equation, we can understand that when you alone remove this particular equations, when you consider the only DC component, we have S is equal to S1 square plus this Sn square. These are the terms. Okay, this is I1 square plus VH square and V1 square plus IH square, VH square into IH square. In this case, in that case, what we are going to get here, it is we are not able to find it out as square root of s square minus p square. It doesn't give the reactive power. It gives about a non-active power. If if you are having a value of the real power as well as the reactive power, the reactive power, how does you know that? If you know the reactive power, Q is equal to something summation of n is equal to 1 to the harmonic order. This is Qn, sorry, Vn In of sine of pi n. In that case, when you know this particular summation values, all values, in that case, s square is equal to p square plus q square. Even this p square plus q square is not equal to s square. There is one more term which has been mentioned as a distortion power d. Okay. I mean, if you take about s square plus p square plus q square, if you find it out, the real power, one of the equation was the p is equal to 1 by t, 0 to t, v of t into I of t into dt, we can find out the average power. If you are able to find out some mean by the reactive power also, when you have the voltage harmonics and in the current harmonics, whatever you get, you find out the RMS voltage and in the RMS current, you can find out the S. In that case, the S is not equal to square root of P square plus Q square when you have the harmonics in the voltage, harmonics in the current. There is one more factor which is going to come, is the D square term. D square term. The D square, S square is equal to P square plus Q square plus D square. Then D is equal to square root of S square minus P square minus Q square. This is power, they call it as a distortion power. Okay, there are the different powers. One is the non-active power, the other one is the distortion power. The distortion power can be find it out when you have the apparent power as well as the reactive power. Okay, these are the powers of non-active power and the distortion power when we have the distortions in voltage and current. Yeah. And then we have one more term which is a fundamental power factor, or also call it as a displacement power factor also. It also call it as a displacement power factor. This is the displacement power factor is a fundamental real power by the apparent fundamental apparent power. Fundamental apparent power. Yeah. Now this particular equation, you can see that the power factor, the overall power factor. The overall power factor for a single phase system, it's of a total real power by the apparent power. Yes, that is it is the P is 1 by T of 0 to T of V of T into I of T into D of T dt, whereas the S is of VRMS into IRMS. Now this expression, the P is equal to P1 plus PH, P1 plus PH, S is equal to square root of S1 square plus Sn square. We can make out a P1 as common over here. It is PH by P1. Here also S1 is common over here. That is, now this is P1 by S1. It is nothing but the fundamental power factor or the displacement power factor of PFI. Now this expression of 1 plus PH by P1 is equal to square root of Sn by S1 square. This Sn square, Sn, we try to express in terms of S1 times of square root of THT current square, THT in voltage square, plus THT square of current plus THT of voltage square. This equation we have just derived it also. Okay, this particular equation. Next step. Yeah, this is the term. Okay, this is the term, right? Then Sn square is equal to this. Now, in this expression, we can make out a substitution of Sn as this equation. We'll be getting this particular expression, THD in current by THD in voltage plus THD I square plus THD O square. Now with this equation of 1.56, we observe that the power factor of a single phase system depends upon the fundamental active power and then the harmonic active power and then the displacement power factor, this factor, displacement power factor, and THD is in voltage and current also. Okay, THD is in current. Now the power factor which has been defined as, it is a utilization factor indicator. Utilization factor indicator with reference to the source power, with reference to the source. Okay. Actually, the power factor which we know that is a cos phi is equal to P by S. Once if whatever the apparent power is there, if it is very well equivalent to S alone, if you consider it, or else the P by P. In that case, the power factor is equal to 1. That means that you have been utilizing the source in an effective way. Effective in the sense like we have been burdening the source, whatever the source is capable of delivering the active power. If suppose if some amount of a reactive power is there in S, some amount of a reactive power is there in S, in that case the cos phi it becomes very less up when compared to the S by S or P by P also. Then the P by S is a measure of the utilization factor indicator as a source, as it indicates the usage of the real power, as it indicates the usage of the real power. Okay. The term which is of Sn by S1 is used to decide the overall degree of harmonic content in the system. This Sn by S1 also, once you go this equation, Sn by S1, if Sn is very less, Sn is, if I say that the Sn is very lower value or it is 0 also, then there won't be any distortion in the current or distortion in voltage or distortion in a current also. The term of Sn by S1 is used to decide the overall degree of harmonic content in a system. Harmonic content in a system. Okay. The flow of the fundamental power can be characterized. The flow of fundamental power, especially the fundamental power, can be characterized from the S1, the P1, a PF1, and then the Q1. There is no other factors which is going to come to characterize the fundamental power. Okay. And we are going to further some of the assumptions. The one of the assumption over here it is the P1 is much greater than the pH. P1 is much greater than the pH. Then now with this equation 1 plus pH by P1. In this case the P1 is much higher, then this term will be neglected. And also the THD in voltages is very much lower in any kind of a distribution system. If you see that the standards which I mentioned in earlier class also, we see that the THD in the voltage level maximally it is allowed is something around a 3% of the value. Some allowed value is 3%. It's allowed is the THD in voltages is around a 3%. Okay. When you compare the THD in the current, THD in voltage is less also. Now the above expression of the power factor is simplified as once this particular factor is removed, we get a PF1 plus 1 by 1 square root of 1 plus THD in current also. With this, you can understand that the THD in current is influencing the power factor. Is influence if the THD in current is very high, then what happened was the overall power factor is going to come down. Once your power factor is coming down, it is an indication of the power factor is an indication of the utilization factor. We are not utilizing the source in an effective way also. Not in an effective way in the sense like we are not we are underutilizing the source. Okay, we are underutilizing the source. The source when you have a THD in currents. Okay, this is about the harmonics unit. Okay. Yeah. These are the things like in the first unit, which I have been mentioned in the first unit also. Sorry, in this particular unit of fundamentals of harmonics, the harmonic standards, and then yeah, these contents which I have, especially this particular harmonic analysis. I've not discussed anything about this particular content. You try to figure out yourself because you are aware of how do you are estimating the harmonic analysis uh, by way of extracting out the frequency components by making use of a Fourier series or Fourier analysis also. Okay, Fourier analysis. If any other harmonic analysis are there, there's a one. Please explore it. I'll also try to cover if time in my in coming class also. I also try to discuss with the harmonic analysis with the other estimation methods also. Okay. We'll go to the next unit, which is of this particular unit, voltage quality. Okay. In this unit, you have about this particular introduction source of sag, swell, unbalance, harmonics, voltage quality standards, effects of sag, swell, unbalance, and harmonics. We have discussed in the introduction class also. Some of things are sags. We have discussed it sags and definition wise, unbalance, harmonics. Harmonics also have been discussed when we are discussing about the harmonics unit also. What is the why we'll be having the harmonics in voltage? And coming back to the voltage quality standards, okay, I've been shown about the with respect to the harmonics. I've shown in the IEEE 519 standard also. But apart from that, there are other kind of a power quality standards are there with respect to the long duration voltage variations, and then the short duration voltage variations. These particular voltage limits also we have been discussed about when we have been defining the power quality definitions. Okay. And coming back to the sags, the sources of sag especially, which is due to the faults in a system, and the sources of sag is due to the induction during the induction motor starting also. During the induction motor starting also, we will be having the sags. And the swell is And I defined the definition also. The definition of the sag is in the sense of with respect to the magnitude is if the voltage magnitude is falling between 0.1 per unit to 0.9 per unit, 0.1 per unit to 0.9 per unit. This part, okay, 0.92 per unit for a duration of half cycle, for a duration of half cycle to 1 minute. Okay, the source of sags, and we have been defined this definitions also. Okay, and the swell also is due to the a fault in a system also, fault in a system, whereas this unbalance is due to the uneven connection of the loads. Maybe the loads in a particular phase may be overloaded, the other phase are being lightly loaded. Because of that, we'll be having that once, once we have an unbalanced currents flowing in a line, once you have a unbalanced currents flowing in a line, like IA, maybe IB and IC unbalanced currents. Obviously, when you have an unbalanced currents, at a PCC, at a point of common coupling, when you consider a feeder impedance, maybe ZA and ZB and ZC, then obviously at a point of common coupling where our loads are being connected, okay, if you try to if you are measuring the voltage at this point, the point of common coupling, we'll be seeing the voltage unbalance, and we know that the we know that how we are able to quantify the voltage imbalance also. Okay, voltage unbalance also. Okay, one thing is the one of the easy way of calculating of negative sequence or the ratio of negative sequence or a zero sequence with respect to the positive sequence voltage, we can find out the voltage unbalance. And then harmonics also will be existing in the voltage, but generally like the load itself is with respect to the maximum value, the load is maximum THT is allowed is only the 3%. So yeah, voltage harmonics will be existed due to the currents only. And these standards with respect to the sag and swell, which have been mentioned about when I was discussing about the definitions, and with respect to the harmonics, I have given in the last class about the harmonics, how much should be allowed, the individual harmonic voltage, and then the overall total harmonic distortion. If you consider the effects of a sag in a system also, uh, one one of the basic problem when you have the sags, when you have a voltage sag in a system is the performance of the sensitive loads is not satisfactory. Is not satisfactory. Suppose one example I can give, like suppose where you are especially especially when you are in a operation theater, okay, in an operation theater where if you are able to when you're doing in an operation theater, there should not be any power fluctuations and there should not be any deviation in the voltage. Maybe sometimes they use the surgeries with the robots also. See, in that case, suppose you have a voltage sag, then the performance of the robot or any kind of a illumination kind of a problem, it is going to seriously affect the um, affect the human beings also. One of the problem. Typically, like whenever when you are looking about the load performance, the electrical load performance, it's obvious like some loads are very sensitive to the load variations, especially the manufacturing industries. I was mentioning about the semiconductor manufacturing industry. They're very sensitive for the load variations. Okay, that in that case you will be having complete your system is going to shut down also. Even there are some of the cases where the wall clocks, especially in the olden days, it is going to have the power supply, the wall clocks which have been there, which is going to operate uh, with the power supply. Okay, if you have a power glitch or the voltage variations, then obviously it is going to the wall clock is going to stop over there also. Then again we need to reset all the wall clocks also. Even the mal-operation of some of the circuit breakers also. Okay, that is a very serious problem will be there when you have the uh, voltage side. These are the things which I've discussed it also. Okay, just refreshing it and swell also. And then the voltage imbalance, especially the voltage imbalance is a serious problem with respect to the induction motor. We have a pulsating torque, and then unnecessary circulating currents will be there when you have the voltage imbalance. Okay, and just now we are seeing about the harmonics also. When you have a voltage harmonics, we have been underutilizing, and the overall power factor is going to decrease also. These are all sag and swell unbalance, and then the harmonics are affecting the voltage quality. Apart from these, the short duration, the longer duration voltage variations also is influencing the voltage quality. Okay, long duration voltage variations, we are not come across these aspects of long duration voltage in this introduction. Because of the long duration voltage variation also, the quality of the voltage is going to affect. See, in the with respect to the voltage quality, what we are expected is, we are expected voltage, the RMS voltage or the fundamental voltage, to be at the nominal voltage, and these voltages, when you consider a three-phase system, these are the three-phase voltages are a balanced voltages, and the frequency of that particular voltage should be at a 50 hertz or the 60 hertz frequency. Okay. In that case, if you are able to maintain these particular things, one is the nominal voltage in all the phases, and then the balanced voltages, and then the frequency should be 58. Then we can say that the quality of the voltage is very good also. Okay, yeah. For this unit, you can refer this particular textbook, Understanding the Power Quality Problems by Mathesh Bullen. It is, for the publication is of by IEEE Press. Okay. If you can, I don't think like it will be the soft copies available for this textbook. In that case, whatever the contents which have been required also, I will maybe provide the PDF of my textbook. Okay, I have a textbook which, okay, I'll provide that the snapshots. Okay, and then some of the IEEE papers also, the content, especially these particular area, we have been discussed in the unit 1 and unit 2. Even then, especially with respect to the voltage standards, I'll try to give out an explanation in the next coming class also. Okay. Okay. Okay then. We'll meet in the next class. Next class will be. I don't know about the Saturday timetable. Is it Saturday's timetable is of Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday
Yes,
timetable.
Thursday. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll take the class of Thursday. Thursday
Okay,
means
sir.
4:30, right? 4:30, it may not be possible also. I'll see. I'll let you know also. And the exam
Okay,
is there, the minor one exam is there on
next,
12. Next?
you didn't
No, I
say
mentioned
the
in
date.
last class. Date I didn't. Friday is it okay, right? 26th?
Yes, sir. Next Friday. Yeah, that was just going to tell you, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Friday is around 3 to 4 maybe, around 3 to or 4 to 5. And whatever the syllabus which I'll try to cover up to 23rd.
Sir, from actually about the timing, sir, we have seminar that day. So our seminar will last till 4:30, I guess. And also 30 minutes gap would be great. So if you can take the exam from like
How about
5:30 to
how
6:30,
about Saturday? Saturday is okay.
27th.
Uh,
Yes.
So I need to check the schedule, sir, on which day it is falling because we might have class that day.
okay, then see, in that case, like you can write on 6 to 7, right? The exam.
Yes, sir. 6 to 7.
Friday.
That's what I was telling, sir. From like 5:30 to 6:30 is okay, sir. Friday.
Okay, Friday 5:30 to 6:30 we'll be having the minor one examination. It is
Sir.
by on LMS only.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay, sir.
excuse me,
Yeah.
sir. Sir, please provide the PDF of second unit, sir. It will be helpful in writing the notes, sir.
Okay. Why?
PDF of second unit, sir. It will be helpful in writing the notes, sir.
Okay, I'll try to see. I'll provide it. Okay, I'll provide.
Okay, sir.
Any
Thank
other?
you, sir.
Any other? So let me know if you have any other difficulties also. Okay then. Thank you.